In episode 4, Davy has now patched up 50% of the relationship she's ruined. She just has to fix the one with Ben. She goes up to talk to him, but it's the rude Ben, not the Ben that she actually fell for. It's pretty clear that he's not going to be as easy to smooth over as Paxton was. When she goes to class, they have a new student, and it is the most gorgeous Indian girl I think I've ever seen. Her name's Anissa, and she's transferring from a prep school. She was a soccer player there and a really good one. And immediately, she just gives off cool vibes. And the fact that Anissa is immediately getting attention kind of pisses off Davy. She always felt like she was an outcast because she was Indian, and yet here's an Indian girl in front of her that's being everybody. Davy doesn't want to seem like a jealous bitch, so she plays it off like she also thinks Anissa's awesome, but she doesn't. Fabiola is out of town, so at lunch, it's just Davy and Eleanor needs to get out of the house. Her dad and her stepmom Sharon are driving her nuts, mainly Sharon. Because Sharon has the audacity to try and bond with Eleanor. I mean, where does Sharon even get the right? Eleanor claims, though, that she doesn't need all of this. She doesn't care that her mom abandoned her to be an extra on Blue Bloods or whatever show that she's on. Luckily for Eleanor, they have plans for a sleepover on Friday, and she can't wait for it. Davy then tries to switch the subject. She needs to find Eleanor's feelings on Anissa. So she throws it out there, saying that Anissa's kind of a tryhard, but even Eleanor thinks that she's cool. The principal then interrupts their conversation and asks Davy if she would walk Anissa around. And at first, Davy thinks, oh yeah, you're just putting the two Indian kids together. But the principal says, don't even try to play that race card with me. You literally have the same schedule. So walk her around and show her the place, please. So Davy doesn't really have an option. She's going to have to bond with this girl. And Anissa's already getting the lay of the land. She asks what Davy's into, and Davy says, normal teen stuff. Actually, last week I threw a killer rager. And Anissa has actually heard about it. Well, what she heard was there was a crazy girl who threw the captain of the swim team in front of a car. And Davy does not fess up to that. Davy then walks into class where her favorite teacher, Mr. K, greets her. And they're both Indian. So they've always felt like they shared a special bond. But with Anissa, Mr. K has turned his attention to her. Because he's the coach of the soccer team. And he's seen her play before and he wants her to join the team. She's completely down. But the fact that Davy feels like she's no longer Mr. K's favorite student hurts. What hurts even worse is during the day, it becomes painfully obvious to Davy that Anissa is fitting in wonderfully. I mean, everybody likes this girl. And by the time the day ends, Davy is ready to cut ties completely. Anissa thanks her for showing her around, but Davy says, yep, see ya, and walks home. Davy gets home, she's doing some homework at the dinner table, and her mom is checking the mail, and she is mortified to find that Dr. Jackson, the guy that she sold her client list to, had the audacity to put Davy's mom on his mailing list. Davy's mom says this guy is so infuriating, but everybody that meets him just loves him. And Davy says, well, that sounds a lot like Anissa. Anissa's my Dr. Jackson. Everyone's in love with her, but she sucks. And to make it worse, everybody thinks that we should be best friends because we're both Indian. But Davy's mom cuts her off and says, what? She's Indian? You guys should be best friends. Davy's mom then starts quizzing Davy on everything about Anissa. And when Davy doesn't know, Davy's mom instructs her to invite her over Friday for dinner. Even though it's supposed to be your sleepover with Eleanor, looks like Anissa's invited too. So Davy reluctantly invites Anissa, and Anissa can't wait. When Anissa comes up and asks, is there anything I can bring tonight? Davy tells her, no, we're good. And Eleanor turns to Davy and says, I think this is a good thing. It's good to give nice people a chance. And maybe she should take her own advice, because that's when her stepmom Sharon gets her attention. And Eleanor is straight up rude as hell to Sharon. All Sharon wants to do is bond with Eleanor, and all Eleanor wants to do is push Sharon away. Sharon says, what if we do a TikTok dance together? I mean, I've seen a lot of mothers and daughters do those. To which Eleanor says, Sharon, you're not my mother. You're my stepmother. But then the Disney Channel star walks by, says hello to Eleanor, and Eleanor is smitten. It's the first time she's let her guard down around Sharon because she completely forgot that she's supposed to be rude to Sharon. So when Sharon asks her, who is that? Eleanor starts giving her the full breakdown of everything to do with Malcolm Stone. She then realizes who she's talking to, snaps out of it, goes back to being a bitch, and demands in and out on the way home. All the girls go home and get ready for the sleepover that night. And even though Anissa was told not to bring anything, she brings the Rolls Royce of gift boxes, a Ferrero Rocher tower. She's immediately in Davy's mom's good graces. But then she actually asks Davy's mom if she wants any help. She also refers to Davy's mom and her grandmother as auntie. I mean, she is passing all of the tests. This is the first time that any of Davy's friends have treated Davy's mom like she wants to be treated, with respect. The girls then head upstairs, and Davy's mom isn't the only one who's smitten with Anissa because so is Eleanor. Eleanor tells Anissa, I can't wait for you to meet Fabiola. She's going to love you and the way you do eyebrows. Davy, though, hated how comfortable Anissa was getting. She wants to get to learn more about Anissa and asks, why did you transfer? And Anissa says, well, you know how prep school is. It's so much drama. And Eleanor says, we have drama too. A few weeks ago, Davy had a party where she made the hottest guy in school get hit by a car. And immediately Davy says, well, I didn't make him get hit by a car. But it does get super awkward because this is something that Davy and Anissa had talked about. Eleanor then tells Anissa about the two boyfriends. And Anissa is completely impressed. She can't believe that Davy had two because her parents won't even let her have one. And Davy says, yeah, my mom won't let me have one either, but I do what I want. Eleanor then gets a text message from Malcolm Stone, and he is away with words. He texts her, sup, LOL. And as Eleanor is fawning over these 6 letters, Davy reminds her, I'm not one to talk, but you do have a boyfriend, you know. Eleanor tries to play it off like she just respects Malcolm as a fellow actor, but it's obviously a lie. Eleanor starts asking Anissa for advice on what she should text her, and Davy jumps in and says, well, you know what would be better than texting him? Seeing him. Why don't we just sneak out? Eleanor wants to see Malcolm, and Anissa's never snuck out, so everybody's down. They get an address from Malcolm, who is standing in an empty parking lot overlooking the city. But Eleanor was completely unaware that when she was texting Malcolm, Malcolm was with Ben, because Malcolm and Ben go way back. Eleanor apologized to Davy, saying, I had no idea he was here, and I understand if you want to leave, but I don't. So because of that, it looks like they're staying, and Davy introduces Malcolm and Ben to Anissa. Ben says, since you're new, I'm going to tell you, you're hanging out with a social grenade. And Anissa says, well, I don't take advice from somebody who looks like they've been getting a haircut from the same person since they were 4 years old. The fact that Anissa just went back at Ben in Davy's defense has Anissa slipping into Davy's good graces. The group starts talking about what they want to do that night, and Malcolm says, you know what I want to do? I want to get a tattoo. His stand-in on the Disney show runs a tattoo shop, so age isn't going to be an issue. The group heads over there, and Malcolm heads in the back to get his tattoo. The rest of the group isn't really planning on doing anything. But as Davy is looking at the piercings, Anissa says, I'm going to be honest, I think you could totally pull off a nose ring. And Ben, who is standing right behind them, says, you're not going to do it. You're scared of your mom. Davy immediately says, no, I'm not. I'd do it. And Ben tells her, if you get a nose ring, I'll get a tattoo. And that's a pretty big deal because Ben is planning on being buried in a Jewish cemetery. But that's how confident Ben is that Davy won't go through with it. But this is the first conversation that Ben and Davy have had where Ben wasn't rude to her. She feels like this could be her opportunity to bridge that gap. So she gets a nose ring. Ben heads in the back to get the tattoo. And as the guys come out, they show off their new ink. Malcolm got a sweet tattoo that says, be anally. I'm sorry. Wait, no, it says be an ally, of course. Ben got a tattoo of a small basketball. The group then grabs some food and heads back to that abandoned lot. As the night wraps up, though, Malcolm says goodbye to Eleanor and ends up kissing her. And at this point, Eleanor knows that she has to break up with Oliver. Davy, though, looks over and sees Ben rubbing his tattoo off because it was a fake. Davy can't believe that Ben actually did this because she feels like she just permanently altered her face. I guess she doesn't know that nose rings can close up. But Ben tells her, I guess it feels bad to commit to something, not knowing that the other person is lying to you the whole time. Huh. Davy says, I'm sorry, okay? You win. Can we be even now? But Ben says, no. We're not even close to being even. Davy, you followed him. You followed him and you left me behind. So no, we're not friends. Those words by Ben really hurt Davy to the point where she couldn't sleep. And also to the point where she totally forgot to take out her nose ring. So when her mom walks in the bedroom that morning, she sees it and flips. But Anissa comes to her defense. She tells Davy's mom that it was all her idea and Davy was just trying to be more Indian. And this completely works. Davy's mom says, well, I'm glad that Anissa is helping you appreciate your culture. And honestly, it looks good on you. As she starts to walk Anissa out, she thanks her for helping her out there with her mom. And Anissa knew what to say because she also has Indian parents. She knows how overbearing they can be. She knows how they can read into every little detail. She then tells Davy, I should go because if my mom comes in and sees you wearing that sweatshirt, she's going to give you a whole speech about how girls dress like boys now. And that is a speech that Davy knows by heart. So Davy finally sees what everybody else in the school sees with Anissa and gives her a giant hug. And it turns out Davy realizes her mom was right as well. It's good to have an Indian friend. It's good to have somebody that you can commiserate with. But when she goes to school on Monday and turns the corner, she sees Anissa kind of flirting with Ben. And then all of a sudden, Davy went from loving Anissa to being like, who the hell does this bitch think she is? And then there's Kamala. She's having a tough time in the lab. She's working incredibly long hours and doing a lot of grunt work. But Prashant is flying in that weekend, and they're planning on going out and finally having a date night. During the dinner, Prashant drops a bomb on Kamala, telling her that he's moving to LA. Before she can even get excited about it, though, she gets a call from Evan telling her that she's going to have to head back into the lab. Even though she had the night off, he gives her some speech about sacrifice and this is what it takes. So Kamala gives in and heads back to work. But at 2 a.m., she gets a visitor from Prashant. She starts venting about Evan and his group because she saw that they were at K-pop karaoke. And Prashant gives her some pretty good advice because he's worked with a lot of Evans in his life. He tells her, you gotta kind of play the game. Kamala actually takes this advice, and the next time she sees Evan, she brings up how much she loves K-pop, how much she loves karaoke, and all of a sudden, it's as if she's accepted into Evan's nerd herd. And Evan actually ends up giving her the day off. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought this sucked. Make sure to be nice in the comment section. If you don't see the next video up in the end screen there, I'll get it up in a few days, not to worry. And I have merchandise, so go buy a mug or something. It's never too early to think about Christmas gifts, folks. Once again, thank you for checking out this recap.